Hey guys, so today you and I are going to talk about mediocrity. So let's get into it. So the question in question was, Frederick, I am a mediocre software developer. Can I be successful in a company like Facebook or Uber? I have prepared like hell for 6 months and then I got an offer from one of these companies. I fear I got the offer because of my preparations and that I will fail on the job. Well, that is a very real possibility. It depends a little. This is the problem, I will say, with the recruitment process at the big super companies and so forth. At least the part, they may have changed it, but it's very famously known that most of these companies favor algorithmic problems. And if you say to me that you've been preparing for 6 months, that tells me that you have, for the last 6 months, either been studying computer science questions. Basically, you've most likely been binging on algorithms and data structures and stuff like that, which is absolutely the thing you want to do if you want to pass the interview. But if you don't have the actual skills to do the actual work, because the actual work doesn't really have anything to do with that, usually. It depends on the team, of course. I mean, binging on computer science related questions and so forth for a standard web developer, a software developer, uh, that's a good investment just to get through the door. But if when you get in, I can promise you, your first day is not going to be about doing a depth for search implementation. It's going to be make this website look like that, or make this part of the system that has a bug not do that anymore. Make this network request to a external service, persist this thing to the database. Those are the things that you will be doing. And this is why I warn every single software developer who is willing to listen, that has this sort of question, the sort of worry, or is trying to get into the industry or whatever, understand that it is a culture thing for the most part. There is an absolute value to knowing computer science. I'm not saying that. I'm telling you it's really valuable, but you cannot treat it as the whole truth. You cannot give it 100% of your attention because it's not going to work. Can I make I don't know how to make that. That's like the clearest thing I can make it. It's like if it's like being a bodybuilder and only focusing on chest and never training anything else, or like ignoring some your legs or whatever. You're going to end up with a really strong chest, but you're going to have chicken legs. It's the same problem. You can't treat it as the only thing that matters. The ratio I usually tell people, I mean, if you're going to go into a company like this where you know that the entry, like the gateway, requires you to have strong skills in this area, then absolutely, I would say treat this as a driver's test. I really do. I think that that's probably the best tip I can give you. Treat getting into the industry and learning about algorithmic problems and so forth, at the very least to begin with, as a driver's test, where you will have to study really, really hard. A lot of questions and a lot of stuff that you're going to forget within the first year of having your driver's license. And the thing is, like the companies or like your government, they know that you're going to forget. There's no reasonable person who would ever expect a driver to know to have the same level of knowledge after 10 years of driving as they had on their first time reading the book. But that doesn't really, like, the thing is, we're not trying to make you remember the book. We're trying to make you a safe driver. That's what we're trying to do. And the same thing goes for hiring Google, getting into Google or Facebook or basically any company. They're trying to make sure that you can do the job. And this is the way they have picked to assert that thing. And although we can have discussions on whether or not this is a good way to figuring that out, it is the end goal. The end goal is for you to prove that you know how to do the job. And so try to create a ratio where you have on a normal, as like a completely normal year of your life when you're not where you actually have a job, try to put 80% of your time focusing on learning the tools of the trade and learning how to use good practices in the actual software development process, and 20% on computer science related stuff. Look at it as maintenance. The ratio needs to change now because you're trying to get into a company where they really value this sort of stuff, and so now maybe 80-20, so 80% time on computer science related stuff and algorithms and data structures and really get that down, and then 20% on the remaining skills, and then just pray and hope that you have accumulated enough experience, or that whatever company you start working for is putting you in an environment where you can then change that ratio and get up to speed on the actual work. Because as I said many times before, and you probably have identified, and you have, it seems, because you're scared of this, when you get into a company such as, say, Facebook or Uber or whatever, it doesn't really, I can promise you that they will not, depending on team now, of course, give you a task that starts off with the same, that even most likely remotely does anything that you have been studying for, because the average day of a software developer is not tied into the greedy algorithm or Dijkstra's algorithm or graph theory or stuff like that. It depends on the team. Some teams who do very specific sort of work is going to do this do this sort of stuff a lot, but the vast majority of us, we are adding things to a database, we're grabbing things from a database, we're showing a UI, we're connecting to a system, or doing something like that. It's that's most of what we do. So what I want you to take away from this is that I think that there is some reason to be concerned that if the only thing that you have been doing for the past 6 months in order to prepare to get into a company like Facebook or Uber or whatever is to focus on the algorithms, that you might not, it depends of course on what the expectations they have when you get in, but if you only focus on data structures and computer science related questions, you will be very equipped, most likely, to get through the interview, but the actual work might be a different story. So I really urge you to have an 80-20 mindset. You can, when you're trying to get into a company that is famous for a lot of these sorts of questions, have 80% of the focus on computer science related stuff and 20% on tooling and like the normal stuff that you usually do, and then switch that ratio, and you can have 80% focus on the tooling and 20% on computer science and things of this nature, because even a senior developer has use for these for an understanding of data structures and computer science related algorithms and so forth. They have a use, it's just that they are not the norm of your everyday. And at least I believe, this is my own personal philosophy, that you should master the skills that you use every single day, and you should practice the skills that you might need tomorrow. And I can promise you, you will be a better software developer if you get good at computer science and algorithms and data structure. It's not going to be the main thing of your career, but it will make you better. I promise you that much. Have a great day.